Right, so today we're going to preview Quade Cooper's Achilles tendon rupture suffered against Argentina playing for the Wallabies over the weekend. We just marked out the Achilles tendon there with the yellow arrow. Quade was grabbing at it after the injury suffered to his left leg. For those of you that don't know what an Achilles tendon rupture, Achilles tendon is, it's this tendon marked here in yellow. It attaches into the heel just there. And if it ruptures, it usually means the tendon is then torn into two parts, marked there with the two arrows, and intervened by an area of blood, as is marked by the yellow arrow just there. And basically it's either going to be repaired surgically, or the foot's got to be put into a position where the two ends can come together for a long period of time. Now, the two ways of rupturing your Achilles, one of them is what's called a forceful plantar flexion, where the foot is basically pushed downwards forcefully, or the other one is a violent dorsiflexion, where the toes are pushed up towards the knee violently. Now, most likely is Quade suffered a forceful plantar flexion injury. So here he is when the injury happened. His foot's planted in the ground. He's pushing off against the Argentinian defender, and he's about to prop off this foot. Here we go, and move away from the defender, and that's likely where he suffered the rupture, even though it wasn't super obvious. His foot's pushing down into the ground there, and his calf just there is being tensioned under his body weight. And as he then goes to take the next step, when he props the foot after this next step, here it is here, his foot's at 90 degrees, which is not unusual, but after he takes this step, he stumbles, and that's unusual, suggesting he got not enough power or not what he was expecting when he propped on the foot. And you can see here the foot's actually bent back further than normal, and that suggests probably the tension that's normally there for the Achilles is not there, meaning that it's ruptured at that point. And so you'll see he stumbles again after this. So here he's stumbling, he goes onto that left foot again, and then he basically falls into the ruck after this, if you watch the video. And that's because that Achilles tendon is now in two parts. It's not in continuity anymore, and he won't have that power, that step off. Now, in terms of an operation to the Achilles, which is likely what Quade's going to get, it'll usually involve about 3 cuts. We're fortunate now we can do what's called a minimally invasive Achilles repair. The main cut there is over the middle there of the Achilles tendon. And just to show you what the Achilles tendon looks like, it starts off as a muscle in the calf just there, and then the Achilles tendon itself is in yellow, and it's got 2 parts if it's torn. So here's the bottom part here, marked just there with the arrow, and then there's a top part just up near the muscle just there, and then it's separated by blood in between, where there's a gap from the tear. Now, it's repaired with stitches. The surgeon has a special device that puts some stitches through the Achilles tendon, and then those stitches are basically locked into the heel under the appropriate tension with a screw-like device called an anchor, which is just on the left there. And basically the foot is pushed down, and that brings the two tendon ends together, and it's locked off with tension with this anchor, and so there's no gap then. Now, Jaden Brayley from the Knights, he's the captain of the Knights, went through something similar earlier this year, and he was placed in a plaster after the operation like this. Quade will have something similar for about 2 weeks while the wound heals usually, and then he'll go into a special type of boot, usually called a range of motion boot. In terms of returning to play, if you look to the NRL, which is a similar game, people like Connor Watson, Sean Johnson, Kip Baptiste have gotten back in between 5 and 7 months. Jaden Brayley from the Knights was about 6 months. He's the latest there. So that's probably what you can expect in terms of return to play for Quade Cooper. But if you look at other sports in the US, like the NBA, it takes up to 10.5 months for their players to get back. For gridiron players in the NFL, it should be about 11 months. And then it does impact on his performance. So we know from NFL players that they have a 50% reduction in their power ratings, which is similar to a Supercoach rating in the NRL in terms of performance ratings in their first season back after an Achilles tendon repair. So Quade might not be as good when he gets back. Wide receivers, running backs, cornerbacks in the NFL have the greatest drop. So the real running positions have the greatest drop in performance. And so we may see that Quade might make it back before the World Cup next year, but his performance may be down, and it's possible he may not make the team. But hopefully I'm wrong and that's not the case. But look, if you like this video, please take a look at one of our other sports injury analysis videos, and please subscribe to the Foot and Ankle Orthopedic Surgeon if you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.